Well, good morning. It is time once again for Ask the Pastor. And today's question is really kind of a practical one. And it comes from my wife, Amy. And the question is, if Jesus were to come back and walk on the earth today, um, what do you think he'd say or how do you think he'd feel? And so honestly, I think Jesus would be very disappointed. I think he would um, go about, doing the things that he did, healing and being with the outcasts of society and all those things. But I think he'd look at our world and say, we have gone back to the very thing that he was on this earth to preach against, which is following these rules and those sorts of things. And if you think about it, that's what we do. We have taken the Bible in some cases, and I'm not a literalist. I don't take the Bible literally, word for word, but there are many in our world, especially in our country, who take the Bible literally as rules of law and rules of life, take things out of context, and kind of twist the words of Jesus. And so I think he'd be very disappointed with that. I think he'd be happy to see that churches do great things in the world. I mean, we feed the hungry, we clothe the naked. We do a lot of those things. We do a lot of great and wonderful things, not just in our church, but many churches. But there's also, the idea that Christian nationalism has really risen up in our country in the last, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, whatever it is. And the idea that, America is the great country and it is ordained by God to be the country in the world is just a very hurtful thing to the gospel message. It's nothing like that. Even God's chosen people, Israel, never thought of themselves in that way. So I think Jesus would be very, very disappointed with those sorts of things. I think Jesus would be disappointed with the fact that we have taken his words and kind of twisted them as to whether or not we go to heaven and hell, and that is our main focus, instead of living our lives in the way that Jesus taught us, that we are here to be in partnership with God and to create heaven on earth, so that when Jesus descends down from heaven, as Revelation tells us, and God will create a new heaven and new earth, I think Jesus would be disappointed to find out that we have twisted his words so that we're no longer partners with him in this idea, in this new creation, but we're more concerned about where we go after death. But again, Jesus can see all the love that we give as churches. Jesus can see the prayer that we have for another, and all that is good and well, but there's also quite a bit that Jesus would be very disappointed with. I know that's not a very happy message there, but that's just the reality. We have done some horrible things as a church. I mean, you think about the ideas of what is it when never mind. We've just twisted a lot of Jesus's message in this world to make it fit within our own culture and with our own context. And that's not what Jesus' message was about. It was about a worldwide context of creating a new heaven and new earth and being partners with God. And we have gotten away from that. We're more concerned about going to heaven and going to hell, which honestly is not a biblical message. We're more concerned about Christian nationalism and where we should put a flag in a sanctuary. Should it be on the altar or by the altar and all those things? It's almost like we want to worship our country before God. And I think Jesus would be disappointed in all that nationalism. But it's kind of a mixed bag, I guess. Jesus would be happy about some of the things we do. Jesus would not be happy about a lot of the things we do. But we're humans. We're imperfect, and so we want to do what's best for us in our time. But the reality is, we want to do what's best for all time, for all people, and we fall short of that. But we are, reminded in Romans as we're going through that book, that we all fall short of the glory of God. But by God's grace and God's forgiveness and God's sanctification, that we are brought back into the fold and that we can again begin to partner with God. So disappointment, sure, absolutely. Some good things, absolutely. There's a lot of good things out there that Jesus would see and think we're doing a good job of, that really take his message very critically. But all in all, I would think Jesus would be very disappointed, especially the church in America with the things that we've done in the rise of Christian nationalism and persecuting people in the name of God and using the name of God in our politics to get our way and those types of things. That's not anything that Jesus wanted. So again, all in all, some disappointment, some good stuff, but I think mostly Jesus would be disappointed when he came back to this earth. Um, I hope that answers your question, Amy. I know it's kind of a more of a practical question than theological. We'll get into a theological question next week. So everybody have a good day, and we will see you all later.